Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Tower. So tournament day, we are going to be doing some play testing today. It's one that I'm really excited to do. So in the previous tournament, I managed to unlock the final tier of workshop Re-spec discounts. So currently, even though I don't have the workshop presets, a Re-spec is going to be free for me. And so what I'm really interested in testing today is to see how much my performance will improve when I funnel my coins from my enhancement tab into my damage, my attack enhancements. So for today's playtesting, what I would do is in my first run, I would do it as per usual, where I do not do a respec. And so these are the current enhancements that I have. And in my second run, what I would do is I would take the coins that I get from coin bonus and sell bonus and funnel it into damage enhancements. So obviously we should expect an increase in performance, but how much performance, that's what I'm more interested in looking at. So these are my overall stats. Yeah, it's pretty much glass cannon. These things don't cost much to upgrade, but you know, I'm not relying on them at all for my run, so I'm not going to bother with them at all. In terms of my level skips, I've got 0 in attack level skip and 500 in health level skip. And these are my ultimate weapons. So what I did is I got my inner mine quantity up to level 5. It's relatively cheap. Even the last level is going to be cheap. So, you know, might as well just get it up for the benefits during farming. So I think with quantity 5, it's good enough for when I'm farming because I'm able to chain stun the boss with my ops relatively consistently now. So maybe I might hold off on the last quantity for the time being. In terms of my cards, it's relatively similar to everything else. To every of the other tournaments that I've had in the past. These are my modules. I'll be running with Astral Deliverance today. And in terms of my labs, nothing much has changed since the previous update. Just because now that I'm working with 3 masteries, it's taking a while. Mastery labs tend to take quite long to complete. And yeah. Right, so in terms of the milestones, you might notice this very nice looking dragon over here. I managed to complete my tier 16 milestone, and I tried tier 17 and I got to wave 3800, and then suddenly, because there's protector ultimate, some protector came in and then there were some ranged enemies inside the protector, and it just took off like my wings immediately. And a few waves later, another protector came and I died. So this is my setup for, or this is my current progression for tier 17. Or at least I managed to unlock the dragon skin. I might try it again at some point when, you know, maybe when I get a bit more damage. Right. So that is it in terms of the overall update. Let's get into the actual tournament. Okay, so for today's battle conditions, Death Ray resistance, enemy speed, plasma cannon resistance, ultimate weapon durations, and ranged ultimate, I think the main difficulty is just going to be killing the bosses because bosses will be moving faster and we do less damage to them. So other than that, it's not going to be too much of an issue. From previous tournaments, I'm able to control the ranged enemies pretty well. So as long as I set them as the top priority, I should be fine. Ultimate weapon durations is not a big deal for me currently because of my dimension core substat. So If anyone is struggling with the battle condition, I strongly recommend either chronofield duration or the chronofield cooldown. Just getting this in, it's going to make your chronofield permanent. So basically, with my chronofield currently, I am at 1 minute and 10 seconds of duration. So even at max heat, my chronofield is permanent. Okay, so let's get started. One thing to remember moving forward is that I think I cheesed the I must have cheesed the intro sprint and demon mode thingy a bit too much, because now they have this bug fix which they say that, you know, it's a bug. Smart demon mode is not stopping intro sprint, so I guess now what's going to happen is when I start taking damage, instead of just letting intro sprint continue running, I would actually have to cancel my intro sprint and then turn on my demon mode, and hopefully that would allow me to sustain a few extra waves. So if that affected you and it's because of me, I'm sorry about that, but you know, I'm not sure if it's actually me because my channel is pretty small. And speaking of channel, we've crossed 300 subscribers, so to anyone who is new to the channel, welcome. And let's get started. Okay, so first run is the one without any workshop respecs. As usual, I need to set my target priority. So I think today's battle conditions ranged, boss, elites, and then closest would be a good setup. Yeah, it should be fine. Right, I need to set my orbs up as well. I can't do that because of a boss. So let's pump because of the extra speed of enemies, let's keep the orbs at 125 meters and see how we go for now. Alright, it is wave 1230. My wall has finally broken. Bearing in mind that now we have to cancel our intro sprint earlier, I'm going to try to hold it off for as long as possible, just so that I don't have to spend so much time with the video editing later on. But let's see how we go. Okay, it is wave 1500. I'm going to be cancelling my intro sprint now. And so the next wave, I will be able to switch on my demon mode. And the reason for that is because I'm no longer able to kill the bosses before they reach my tower. So with demon mode, damage is currently at 80.3 trillion. Let's see how far this is able to carry me. Alright, it is wave 1584 and we have taken the first hit on the energy shield. So the past 84 waves have been extremely painful to watch, guys. I'm not even sure if it's worth cancelling intro sprint at this stage. I guess I'm just too pampered with intro sprint mastery. Now that just watching the waves go up by one is just, oh, it's miserable. Alright, it is wave 1658. My wings have just propped. If I remember correctly, when I was using the demon mode version, it got me to wave 1700-ish. I'm sure there would be a difference to cancelling intro sprint earlier, but I'm not sure how big the difference actually is at this stage, looking at how things are going. Because I think at this stage, the majority of the damage that I'm dealing to the boss just comes from orbs. So as you can see over here, the orbs have taken out a pretty good chunk of the boss's health, and unless I'm critting, like in this case, yeah, see, orbs is 44% of the boss's health. Unless I'm doing any ultimate crits on the boss, I'm probably not able to kill the boss. Alright, it is wave 1712. Nuke has just propped. If I remember correctly, when the demon mode cheese strat was still available, I made it to wave 1720. So honestly, there is not much of a difference between cancelling intro sprint earlier or not. At least that is my guess. But you know, since I'm not formally playtesting it in this video, I'm just going to say that it's debatable whether or not we should cancel the intro sprint early. Certainly the extra 200 waves of just staring at the computer is extremely painful. But you know, anything for a higher wave count, I guess. Alright, it's wave 1723. We have died. Okay, so we are currently at rank 3, and let's have a look. The game time took like 20 minutes longer than usual. We finally managed to earn some coins from the runs because I cancelled intro sprint earlier. In terms of my damage breakdown, projectiles damage is pretty good with Astral Deliverance. So I'm still not sure whether or not Astral Deliverance is actually better for me, but what I do know is that the damage is more consistent with Astral Deliverance than Death Penalty, which is why I'm using it for this particular test. I might do a Death Penalty run later on if I have time, just to see if I can get, push for that last extra waves if I get lucky. In terms of my damage breakdown, I think the majority of the damage just came from orbs. Chain Lightning did pretty good damage as well. Where is my Poison Swamp? Swamp damage is surprisingly low, and I presume this is the reason for this is because my swamp radius is not large enough. It's currently at level 21, and the swamp is not at my range line. So I presume if I max it out, hopefully it just goes beyond my range line, and that could potentially bump up my swamp damage over time. Okay, so let's see. Oh, Overbuzzy. So shout out to Overbuzzy. He uploaded a video recently about how it's like at the very end game. So I think he went to tier 18 with 7,000-ish. For anyone who has not checked out his video, he just do a YouTube search for Overbuzzy and the tower. He has his most recent video. It's insane. So that would give you an idea of how far or how the game is like at the end game. And for the most part, where my tower is much closer to the mid game than it is for me to Overbuzzy's level in terms of the overall progression. I am much closer to the majority of the player base than I am to somewhere at his level. Alright, so now we are going to be doing a workshop respec. Oh, before I do that, I actually need to check what my enhancements levels are. So 1.9-ish, okay. 141. Alright. So let me do a quick respec, and then we will have a look at how the stats change. So for the respec, I presume damage, I'm just going to max out everything. Oh, why can't I click it? Bounce shot chance, targets. Okay, and for rend armor, I'm not going to max it because it's really expensive. So let's just put 200 levels into these things first. Yeah. Okay. Oops. Now let's go to the defense tab. I don't need any of this. I do need my thorns. Knockback chance and knockback force would be good. Orbs are good. Shockwave size, shockwave frequency, I'll get that up. Landmine chance, damage, radius. Yeah, let's max out my damage. Death Defy, we can max it out. For the wall, I just want the wall rebuild. And for utility tab, I'm just maxing out everything except my health level skips. Sorry, my attack level skips. Okay, so nothing into attack level skips. I want 500 into health level skips. The next one is 1 big Q. That's more than my lifetime coin. And okay, now for the enhancements. So previously I was at 1.9. Okay, I just need to check what my previous stats were. So this was at 125. These two were at 1.7. Okay, in terms of my enhancements over here, I do need my orb size, so let's get this up. I probably would put more into landmine damage because I don't need the health. And let's bring this up to 1.4. Okay. In terms of my utility tab, this was previously at 1.7. I don't need coins and cells. This was previously at 122. And my free upgrades was at 127. Okay, so that leaves me with 273 Q, which I can invest into damage. So that's nice. I guess for a start, we can get this up to level to 2.0 times. Let's get another 10 into them. Let's see, can I get 5 attack speed? Yeah, let's get 5 attack speed. And right, let's get 5 here. And 23 Q remaining. So maybe what I could do is I could increase my orb size just so that I'm able to get more orb tags on the boss. I think that would be useful. Okay, so we've got another 10 Q to spare. Let's split them between these two. And whatever is left, let's max out Ren Armor. Okay, so this is how my workshop is going to be looking like after the respec. These would be my stats. So damage is, I can't remember what it was previously, but there we go. Okay, so let's test out this run. Okay, and just to make sure that everything is in place, nothing here has changed, nothing here has changed. Yeah, okay, let's just get started with the tournament. This is taking a while. So to keep things as comparable as before, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the first wall break. That's going to proc my Berserker. And then I will cancel the intro sprint after the wall rebuilds and breaks again. Previously, the wave where my wall broke was wave 1230. Obviously, with the workshop respec, I should be able to get slightly higher waves. So let's see how much progression that would give us. Alright, it is wave 1370 and my wall has finally broken. So compared with the no respec case, my damage has increased by about 3 trillion, and it has taken me an extra 140 waves before I've had to get my wall broken. So hopefully this translates into an extra 140 waves, although I'm not sure my final position would change, but I'm hoping that this would be an indicator of the final performance. Okay, it is wave 1520. I think I should cancel my intro sprint now because it looks like the bosses are going to be relatively close to my tower. So previously I cancelled the intro sprint at wave 1500, so this has allowed me to delay it by 20 waves. And I think this goes to show that like the damage scaling in the Legends tournament, it's not linear. So my wall took an extra 140 waves to break, but it only took me it only provided an extra 20 waves before I had to cancel my intro sprint. And I presume that's just because the boss health is scaling much more rapidly than our damage. So previously I think this was at 80 trillion. Now I've got an extra about 11 trillion worth of damage. Alright, we are at wave 1648, and I have finally taken a hit on my energy shield. So it's increased the wave count from 1584 to 1648 by doing the respec. Alright, it is wave 1668 and wings have finally procced. So it's almost identical to the no respec case. My wings procced at wave 1658 previously. So this has gotten me an extra 10 waves. It's kind of set to think of it as, well, I've basically put in an extra 250 Q into damage, and that has given me like an extra 10 waves before my wings had to proc. Alright, so it is wave 1764. Notice that the previous boss, I got lucky and then I got a Death Defy. Otherwise, that would probably have proc nuke. And this is, I think, the third Death Defy this run already. Fourth Death Defy, which is very, very unlikely. So I'm getting very lucky with the Death Defies, because there should be a penalty to Death Defy if I remember correctly. How do I see my Death Defy? Oh, I think it's here. Oh, maybe there is no penalty to Death Defy. Okay. In that case, Berserker Mastery is probably pretty good for this battle conditions. I'm not sure. Oh, there we go. Another Death Defy. So maybe focusing on Death Defy is the way to rank better in tournaments, guys. Because at least from what I can see so far, having the extra damage is not really doing much in terms of overall boss health damage. I presume what this implies for me is that I need to shift my focus into my ultimate weapons, and not so much just ranking up my damage and my damage masteries. Because ultimate weapons with the added bonuses and so on, they would probably be what's taking out most of the boss health, and we factor into account ultimate weapon crit, which is a major factor of the damage. So basically at this stage, if I do not crit the boss with my ultimate weapons, the boss is not dying. So nuke has just procced. It's 1784. It seems like over there I took a hit from a ranged enemy, probably because of my black hole. And what I've heard is that towards the end of your runs, you should cancel your black hole. But just to keep them as consistent as possible, I'm not going to do that. And the reason why you want to cancel your black hole is because when your black hole comes out, the enemies or the center of the black hole is actually inside of your range line. So if say the ranged enemies get sucked to the center of my black hole, and then with ranged ultimate, the orbs are not going to kill them. If my tower does not kill the ranged enemies, when the black hole ends, the range will have an opportunity to shoot my tower. Oh, another Death Defy. Okay, and with Death Defy, I'm pretty sure that, like, it's God mode for a while. And so if a new boss comes in at this stage, I'm pretty sure I would be able to kill it. There we go. Oh, and Demon mode has refreshed itself. And if you have a look at the number of range enemies on my screen, this is crazy. It's probably just because range ultimate is present. Those are the only monsters that I can't kill. Another Death Defy. Guys, the secret to ranking well in tournaments is Death Defy. Go work on Berserker Mastery. That's all you need. Yeah, like with 5.7, 5.8 Q damage compared to 91 trillion, there's just no comparison, right? It's night and day. I kind of wish that the Death Defy didn't proc so many times this run, because to keep things in comparison with the previous run, it would be better to have them not proc at all. Okay, so run has just ended. I ended up at wave 1849. So overall, I've gotten an extra 126 waves. Just take this with a grain of salt, guys, because of the number of Death Defies that I've gotten in this run. Look at that, 11 Death Defies. I don't think I got many in the previous run, but I can't remember what the stats were for that. So it took about 10 minutes longer than the previous run. In terms of the overall damage, I'm pretty sure this would give me higher damage just because I had spec'd into more damage. Overall, is it worth to do a respec? For me, yes, it is worthwhile to do a respec, even though it does nothing for my overall ranking. It just prevents Bruce from, trying to catch up to me, hopefully. So I hope you don't catch up to me, Bruce. I'm sorry. But, well, actually, it doesn't matter. As long as Bruce and Indy don't catch up to me, I should be fine. But otherwise, yeah, there's no way that I'm going to catch up to wave 2300, given my current stage of progression. So the overall conclusions that I have from the respecking is that it has delayed the stages where where my wall breaks, where I cancel intro sprint, where I take hits from my energy shield, where I use wings, use nuke, and of course the final run is going to be extended by a little bit. Unfortunately for this set of playtesting, there was I had quite a few lucky Death Defies in the second run, and potentially that extended my run beyond what I would have normally done. So without the respec, I had gotten to wave 1723. If I was being generous, assuming that I did not get any lucky Death Defies, I presume this would have taken me to wave 1750. And what I noticed is that even though enhancing my damage has overall given me larger wave counts, I think the way that I can actually rank better in tournaments is to start focusing on my ultimate weapon damage. As I was observing my run, I noticed that past a certain wave, unless I was getting any ultimate weapon crits on the boss, my ultimate weapons were just not doing much to the boss at all. So I think stuff like Smite would be good because it's going to deal percentage damage based on the current wave HP, and as we know, the enemy health just scales out of control. So having percentage damage is going to be good to have. It would also be good for me to start working on my poison swamp, and also get the poison swamp plus, which allows me to get more damage from my poison swamp. At this stage, because my swamp is relatively underdeveloped, even in my farm runs, it is outperforming my smart missiles. So if anyone is in the earlier stages of progression and you chose not to focus on smart missiles and instead focus on poison swamp, potentially that might be a viable strategy. However, it's not something that I can recommend because I have not personally tried it before. But my understanding of the current meta is that poison swamp damage and chain lightning damage is really good, and it's outperforming smart missiles. Hell, even my astral deliverance is outperforming my smart missiles for some reason. But that being said, that's all the content for today. Thank you very much, everyone, and hope you have a great week ahead. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.